Hey guys, so in the spirit of updating some older guides, I'm going to be updating my arena guide in this video. So especially this week and just like overall more recently, I've noticed that the like 5 times Kuja death squad has been getting popular again. There's a few ways to deal with it. You can use like a preemptive magic tank, for example, what's it called? Like Phasey or Celeste or Maeve, stuff like that. But I like this team, and this is my team: Behemi, Aerith, and then double Itachi. And I'll explain and show the team in a moment. Let's try to fight some teams that I know usually use Kuja. Namo's a popular one that usually has like a Kuja team or something. This guy at rank 3, I believe, is also using a Kuja team. We're going to go with Namo because he's usually running something like a Kuja team. Outstanding. Let's go ahead and show how to deal with Kuja teams with like this. I'm human. Outstanding. They go first. Okay, so they're going to go ahead and murderize all our units that have 30,000 or less HP, meaning both of the Itachis are super dead. Faislis is almost certainly going to die. It really depends if they spark chain or not, and they are spark chaining. So Faislis is going to die, but anyone with 30,000 or more HP, like Aerith and Behemi, are going to survive here. So let this go ahead and finish killing everyone. There we go. So as you can see, our Aerith lost 30,000 HP. She has 10,000 remaining. Same thing with Behemi. You lost 30,000 HP. I think he counter-healed a little bit. But yeah, so the most Kuja can ever deal to your party is 30,000 HP. So as long as your team has 30,000 or more HP, or a unit on your team, you will always survive it. So, and I'll explain in detail the like role of each person on the party. But for now, how do you deal with this? So we're using Remake Aerith, and she's a really good choice for this style of party, and I'll explain why again later in the video. But you want someone to revive and then auto re-raise your, well, not auto, just AoE re-raise your party in the same action. Again, something Aerith can do, which is very, very useful. So she's going to go ahead and AoE revive our members, and then use her ability Planet's Blessing for an AoE re-raise. So everyone's back up. Now everyone has re-raise, and Behemi, literally, Behemi is only here to deal with the like auto attack replacer units. For example, Biggs and Wedge, Corley, all those kind of units that have an AoE chaining auto attack. And people can build them for like ×4 cast and quad casting AoE chaining. It can be really dangerous. Behemi shuts those down super easily. But for this team, he's really not doing anything. He's literally just going to cover and like nothing else. So because the Kujas, if they go again, okay. So we went first the second round. So a lot of times the enemy team will go first again in the second round. They would again, because they got so many crystals, they would get their LB again a second time, and they would again murderize your party. The thing is, at this point, we all have re-raise. So after Kujas did their big LB and it self-capped on the last hit and killed everyone, we would all re-raise, and then we would get a turn guaranteed. But we went second this time, so now we can just easily wipe out Kuja. Kuja's a 7-star unit. He can't gear for high HP. He's going to die like to a slight breeze. He's going to fall over dead. Super easy. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to use, we're going to go ahead and put reload here. We're going to use our bonus unit, which for this week is Summer Faislis. Any bonus unit you want, just a bonus unit, to Bushido Freedom first. And then our DPS are going to chain. I'm using Itachi, and I'll show you her build at the end of the video. She's going to just triple cast her AoE, double hit, cover ignoring, bolting strike chain. That is, because of my setup, is using accuracy, and I'll show you alternatives for those of you that don't have the 4-point Shuriken. So we're just going to use them to AoE chain their bolting strike. And the cool thing about bolting strike is it's super easy to chain too. So we're going to start the chain. We're going to start, always use your Bushido unit first and then send your chainers. So Bushido and then chain. And I've explained in the past about how this works. But Itachi, Riku, Untamed, Adele, etc., they do something like 100,000 damage in the arena. It's literally completely and utterly impossible for an enemy to survive an Itachi chain or a Riku chain if you do it right, because it's not possible to gear for that much HP in the game. So we're going to run a few more times. We're going to go ahead and try this guy, this Dragon Lord looking dude. I think he does under our Kuja team as well. Oh, he doesn't. My bad. My bad. We'll go ahead and wipe them out real quick, and then we will go and try to fight Namo a few more times and just show it in action. I kind of want to show a team where he goes first twice in a row. This is going to be a super whatever clear right here. So we just go ahead and do this, and then we chain our Itachis. And again, you cannot survive a double Itachi. You can have the bulkiest Behemoth with 60,000 HP. Itachi will just destroy you in one turn. You can't survive Itachi in Arena, which is why I love her. Riku's the same thing, but Itachi's a little bit easier because she can triple cast, which is better than Riku. See if Namo's still available. We'll try to pop him a few more times. He's not. Let's try Robot. Actually, no, here we go. This guy at number 1, this one I know is running a Kuja team. Let's go ahead and fight them, and hopefully they go first a few times. Here we go. Another guy. Like I said, the Kuja teams are getting popular again at the top of the arena. They went first. Outstanding. So again, they're going to wipe out our team. And because we've got reload, we can just use reload to get our team back online. So even though they're going first and they're going to wipe us out, and it seems like, oh, this is a headache dealing with these teams, I just shouldn't fight these teams. Really, it takes an extra 10 seconds, and they're worth more points. So I always fight the highest ranked team, no matter what they're running. So again, they're going to kill Itachi, probably going to kill Physalis. Aerith will survive with 10,000 HP. Behemoth always survives. He counter a little bit. Okay, and then we just reload, get them back up, and now either we're going to go next, and then we're going to just wipe them out, or they're going to go again and kill us again. Perfect. Here we go. We can show you when Kuja goes twice in a row. So again, they're going to kill people, but this time they're going to re-raise because of Aerith, and then our turn is going to start, and we're going to kill them on turn 2. So even a Kuja team, you will always win on turn 2 against a Kuja team. You know, these dummies are trying to troll you. It doesn't work if you build properly. It'll be super simple to deal with. I guess the most annoying thing is the long chaining. There we go. Killed Aerith too. But here's the re-raise. There it is. And now it is time to clear them out. So we just reload, we Bushido, and we chain. What up? And goodbye, Kuja. You cannot survive. And because we're using manual control, we can always Bushido. Even if the enemy did have someone on their team to like use re-raise, assuming they would use it, our Bushido always removes it, so they can't deal with it. So I've only got like 2 or 3 orbs left. I'll just run them again, and then I will show you my party. So let's fight Robot DA. Robot DA is a cool dude. He usually doesn't build obnoxious teams. So yeah, this team is super easy. Eldrin. Eldrin, once upon a time, was dangerous because like counterattacks, and if you couldn't one-shot them. But as I've said a few times, with Itachi, your units cannot survive. No matter what you do, your unit is dead when Itachi is on the team. So again, we Bushido for any kind of auto mirage, and then we chain Itachi, and I don't care how much HP your unit has, it cannot survive Itachi. Goodbye. So yeah, so Eldrin's counterattacks are 0 threat when you're using Itachi, Riku, Untamed Adele, all these units that can just destroy an enemy team. So we'll go one more orb. We'll try to get some variety here. I don't know who this guy is at rank 5. Normally, I always choose the highest. And I'm going to go ahead and choose this guy again. You see the ratio here? Like, you'll notice the top-ranked guy, which we know is using a Kuja team, is ratio 1.38. Whereas Robot DA is an easy team, but like this guy at rank 5, like assuming it was Namo and then this rank 1 guy with a Asian name, assuming those were the 2 rank 1s at high ratio, and then the next highest was this guy at rank 5, like you might be scared off, like, oh, it's a Kuja team, I kind of don't want to fight them, I'm going to go for a lower ratio. Well, you do that and you get less points, and you know, no one wants that. So you always want to fight the highest ratio guy no matter what. You just got to build a team that can always deal with it, no matter what the enemy has. And after this orb, I will go through my team and explain. They're going first every single time. It seems like the AI really loves to make the Kuja teams go first. I've noticed that. Like, it'd be easier if we went first, because if we go first, obviously we just kill them on turn one, no stress. But when they go first, we got to wait for this animation. Like, this is the most annoying part of it, is the animation of waiting for Ultimate Symphony to finish. So, yeah. I guess, congratulations, you wasted an extra 8 seconds of my time by building this team. Anyway, so then we just reload with re-raise, and Behemoth is covering. And you might be tempted to add something like like I said, an auto cover magical tank. The problem is, I'll go over that in just a minute. Let's go ahead and wipe this team out. Yeah, the problem is if you use something like Shoreline Fina and Daisy, and those become like popular, players are going to start using things like Biggs and Wedge with auto berserk and quad attack, stuff like that. And then they can really wipe out your team, and even Aerith with like her 50,000 HP or 40,000 HP couldn't survive an uncovered berserked Biggs and Wedge team. So yeah, you got to be really careful with that. So anyway, so let's go ahead and show the team and explain some of the basics. So first of all, bonus unit. Bonus unit is literally whatever is the current bonus unit of the week. Just take the one that has the most HP, give them immunity to everything, and give them Bushido Freedom. All they're going to do every single fight is Bushido Freedom as the first action. That wipes away the enemy's Mirage, any kind of barriers. Like, for example, if the enemy's using Shoreline Fina and Daisy, sometimes she'll use her Magnus and an 8,000 point barrier, which, depending on your team, you might not want to deal with that. Bushido Freedom dispels that, not a problem. It gets rid of re-raise if the enemy team is using, like, Fina, Siaka, Aiden, etc. That puts up re-raise. Bushido Freedom gets rid of all of that. So you do want your unit to always be immune to everything if you can. So I always give my bonus unit Super Ribbon, which is a limited item. You may not have this. This gives them immunity to all the ailments, as well as Stop and Charm. And I give them the safety bit, which is Death Immunity. So this unit, with just 2 item slots, is completely immune to everything debilitating. All statuses, Death, Charm, and Stop cannot hurt this unit. And then we gave them Dual Wield and Bushido Freedom. Other than that, just as much HP as you can really fit. So just HP, Dual Wield and Bushido Freedom with full immunity. So as I mentioned, Behemoth is an auto physical cover tank. You want a physical cover tank that auto covers and is really bulky, preferably with evasion, because if they're using, I mentioned Biggs and Wedge, and if they give Biggs and Wedge quad attack, they can't use accuracy at the same time. So if your tank has evasion against their quad attacking berserked Biggs and Wedge, they'll just evade it and nothing happens. If they go with an accuracy build and a double attack build, like let's say a double hand Biggs and Wedge with Aurora Scarf, evasion won't work, but because they're only double attacking, it won't deal as much damage to your tank. So my Behemoth is, again, he's naturally immune to Stop and Charm. We gave him status immunity with I Love Chocobos, death immunity with Genji Shield, and he's full evasion with auto cover. Full evasion, he's got 53,000 HP. He's also, just for like the absolute worst case emergencies, I gave him dual cast with Soul of Lamasa, and he's on Phoenix with Raise Learned. So like, assuming some eventuality that I never thought of and has at this point never come up, where Aerith somehow dies. Aerith has never ever died, but just in case, for some weird scenario, I don't know, maybe somehow Aerith happens to die on a turn 1, well, Behemoth can raise with Phoenix and double cast. That has never ever come up, but it's just one of those just in case things. And also, I gave him Future Emperor. Behemoth is great because he counterattacks with AoE Mana Restore, and then with Future Emperor, he counterattacks with AoE Mana Restore a second time. That means anytime the enemy goes first and uses annoying things like Lance is a popular one from the Odin Esper. It's single target mana drains your unit, and usually it'll leave your unit at 0 MP. Well, because Behemoth counterattacks with both his own mana restore and Future Emperor, you'll always have mana on turn 1, even if the enemy used mana drains on their turn. Even if they're going like super old school, like the original Rim and Siphon Sphere, to AoE mana drain your entire party. Again, someone is always going to normal attack on the enemy turn or regular attack. Behemoth will always counterattack with Future Emperor as well as his passive. So you're always going to have mana on turn 1 with Behemoth counterattacking. So that's what Behemoth handles. He handles the eventualities of normal attack chainers that are using Berserk or Quad attack. Also mana drains. Behemoth handles both of those. The next one is someone to raise your party against the ambush mage teams. Like Kuja's the popular one. Umbral Darkfina is another one, like the Behemoth Darkfina. She's less popular because she's elemental, so you can immune that. Usually it's Kuja if you fight those high-end players that try to troll your team. Someone to AoE raise and re-raise. My favorite is Aerith, the remake Aerith. If she's using her TMR or STMR, it gives her stop and charm immunity. We're getting death immunity from Vermilion Flag, and then we're getting status immunity from I Love Chocobos. So with that, and she's not even fully door potted, as you can see. I never updated her pots for the new door pots. If I did update her pot, she'd have like 45,000 HP. That's more than I need. 40k is enough, so I'm going to save my resources. But yeah, she just has immunity to everything. She's immune to all statuses, stop, charm, death. And she just does her AoE raise and AoE re-raise anytime the enemy goes first and wipes out the party. As you saw, the max possible damage the enemy can ever deal is 30,000. That's 6,000 per Kuja. And Aerith very comfortably survives that. So nothing will ever kill your Aerith or your healer as long as you can gear them for like 32,000 or more HP. And they just use Revive and... oh, not that one. They just use AoE Revive and AoE Re-Raise. And I don't think these ever get banned. If they do get banned, I haven't noticed it. Yeah, the Kuja teams haven't really been popular until recently. So I haven't even needed Aerith in like 4 months. For some reason, the past 2 or 3 weeks, Kuja teams have been popular again. That's when I've had to start using Aerith again. And I haven't seen Raise or Re-Raise get banned since I've seen the Kuja teams. So maybe I haven't noticed, but it's been working so far. So yeah. And the last slot, or 2 slots, are your DPS units. Now, you really want to get DPS that can wipe out the party or the enemy immediately, like on turn 1. Itachi is, in my opinion, one of the best options for this if you have all of the setup. So the best setup, as you've seen in my previous videos, is 4-point Shuriken. So if you have 4-point Shuriken, a limited item, very old. If you weren't around for this raid, it's too late. But it's a one-handed item with 50% accuracy increase. And obviously, if you're dual wielding them, you have 100% accuracy while dual wielding. Because she's dual wielding, she has the 6 times chain cap. And if you're using her STMR, it gives her triple cast. So she can triple cast her Bolting Strike AoE chains, which are, as you see here, defense ignoring, meaning they cannot be covered. They're double hit, meaning they break the damage cap. And they're Bolting Strike, which is incredibly easy to chain. Bolting Strike is by far the easiest chain in the game, so it should never ever break while you're AoE chaining those. So she can triple cast this. Each hit is going to be a damage cap broken 6,000, so and it hits twice, so that's 12,000 per cast per Itachi, triple casted. So that is 36,000 per Itachi. With 2 Itachis, you're dealing 72,000 damage per turn. No unit in the game can gear to 72,000 HP, so even a EX3 perfectly whaled out Behemoth, which I think is the highest HP in the game, cannot survive Itachi. Everyone else is even weaker. They cannot survive. Nothing in the game can survive this. Also, she has death immunity from Vermilion Flag, Stop immunity from Sephiroth's long coat. This gives stop immunity. Charm immunity from Tifa's earring. Alternatives are things like the original Adele's STMR gives stop immunity. Things like charm immunity are things like Renoa's STMR gives charm immunity. I think it's only 50%, so you would have to use 2 of them, but they are stackable. But anyway, and then status immunity is from I Love Chocobos. So other than that, just give her high HP. Now you'll notice here, I didn't even pot my Itachis at all. They are completely and totally unpotted. I could like door their HP and give them a lot more HP, but I don't really care. The only time they ever die is during like a Kuja ambush, and even if I door potted her HP, she'd have like 24,000 HP, and she would still die to Kuja. So what's the point? What's the point? She's always going to re-rage with Aerith and always survive. Second Itachi, same thing. I just changed their materials a little bit. Same exact build. Now, if you don't have 4-point Shuriken, here is an alternative Itachi build that can still give you accuracy. So here's an Itachi build that still has immunity to everything, a little bit cheaper to build. You'll notice her HP went way down. She's only got 11k HP now. This is without pots. If I potted her, she'd have like 16,000 HP in this build. But this does not require her STMR or the 4-point Shuriken. So she's single-handing her TMR, which has no accuracy, but it does turn on her triple cast. So this is an Itachi with triple cast, and she still has death immunity, charm immunity, and stop immunity. This is in case you don't have Sephiroth's STMR. This one works as well. She is still status immune from Hairpin of Purity, and then she's using 4 different double hand materials. Each of these gives 25% accuracy. So the Mightiest, 25 accuracy, Truth Seeker, 25 accuracy, Warrior of the Crystal, 25 accuracy, and Buster Style, 25 accuracy. So this is a build that gives her double hand, accuracy, immunity to everything. You don't need the STMR, and you don't need 4-point Shuriken. Now, the downside of this build is that she doesn't have the 4 times chain cap, meaning she can only deal 4,000, 8,000 times 3, 24,000. So this Itachi can only deal 24,000 in a turn, as opposed to 36,000 from the chain cap up Itachi. So 2 of them would only deal 48,000 damage, which can potentially leave an enemy tank alive. It'll still wipe out every single dangerous unit in the game. It'll kill Eldrin, it'll kill Kuja, it'll kill everyone. It'll just sometimes leave the enemy tank standing there alone for 1 extra turn. A single tank can't do anything, so like Behemoth or Maeve or something like that might survive until turn 2. Just chain again. Another alternative, let's go ahead and build this real quick, is you can gear them for, let's see, let's real quick do this. We'll give her a 2-handed throwing weapon. Let's give her a double-handed throwing weapon, which gives 50% accuracy. Let's swap in her STMR, and let's swap in the Destruction of Light materia. Okay, so here we go. So now this requires her STMR, but this still doesn't need 4-point Shurikens. So now she's using a 2-handed weapon, which has 50% accuracy. So 50% accuracy, and then 25 from this, 25 from this. So she still has 100% accuracy with a 2-hander. She's still got triple cast because we're using her STMR, but now we were able to fit the Indestructible Light. So now she has the 5 times chain cap. Means each one's going to deal 5,000, 10,000. So each one would deal 30,000 damage. So you're now dealing 60,000 damage with a pair of Itachis on turn 1. And that's going to wipe out pretty much everyone. I don't think Behemoth can actually gear to 60,000 HP. So it's going to even kill the biggest Behemoth, I think. So here's an option if you don't have the 4-point Shuriken, but you do have her STMR. Here's a better build. Keep in mind her HP is extremely low. Mine's not potted. You would obviously want to go, if you have the 4-point Shuriken, this is the optimal build because 4-point Shuriken gives her the 6 times chain cap, and then, you know, all that. As well as, oh yeah, I didn't pot mine. I just thought of something. One more thing Itachi could do is because she can use helms as well as clothing. You can use, for example, the Magister's chest on one of them, and then the other one could use the Magister's helm, and you could still give them the 6 times chain cap. But of course, at that point, we lost our status immunity, so we'd have to get that back somewhere. I guess we could stick her on like Tetra for sleep immunity. Would this work? Will we still have all the important statuses immunity? Yeah, okay, so here's a build that has the 6 times chain cap without 4-point Shuriken and is still immune to everything. So we're immune to death, charm, stop, 6 times chain cap, 100% accuracy, triple cast, and we're immune to all the statuses that matter. It doesn't really matter if we get inflicted with silence or disease, because that's totally fine. So there's another build of Itachi with immunity to pretty much everything. So okay, there is hopefully an updated arena guide to how to deal with everything in the game, including the Kuja teams, which are apparently making a comeback. So I will see you guys next time.